Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while. I took the summer off to actually go out and fish. Didn't do a ton of tying this summer, but here we are back. The snow's begun to fly here in Calgary. So today we're going to tie a GT brush fly. I am lucky enough to be going on a trip where we're going to chase some GTs. So starting off, we got a 8/0 hook from Partridge. These are huge hooks. When you get them, I couldn't believe how actually big this hook is. So I'm using the uni-thread big game thread in black. So I'm just gonna get wind my thread on there, and I'm gonna grab some black bucktail. When you're putting the bucktail on, a little bit different. You don't want to end up sitting on top of your hook. You actually want it to kind of surround the hook shank. So don't worry if your bucktail starts to wrap around the hook shank. That's actually what we want. We don't want it just sitting on top here. So you can see we got the bucktail kind of wrapping around the hook shank. I'm gonna wind this down. Don't tie it off, tie back up towards the hook there and make it nice and smooth. We're going to fold that back. Try to create some bulk in this fly by using the ends of the bucktail. I'm also going to wrap around the bucktail here. Try to keep it pointing up so it doesn't kind of go down around the bend of the hook. So like I said, I'm going to force the bucktail back on top of itself. This is going to create some bulk. I'm going to pull it back as best I can, get my thread through, and then kind of create a thread down here. So I use the Woolly Bugger saddle hackle, and they're like 6 to 7 inches long, as you can see on the package there. Decided to go with some purple. I tied this in all black. I tied this black and purple. I tied it a white and purple, a black and red. You can do tons of different color combinations, but this one we decided to go with black and purple to give it some color. So I'm gonna end up tying 4 feathers on, kind of not in the 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, not the top sides, but kind of quarters. So let's say like 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that sort of kind of wrapped around the hook. I want my feathers to fold into each other, so they splay towards each other, not splaying away from each other. So I'm just going to secure these 4 feathers down, and then we're just going to repeat the process. This isn't a super difficult fly to tie. Just going to repeat the process again, tying in some more bucktail. Also going to put some flash in here as well. But that's basically it. Is you just repeat that over until you get to the front when we add the brush. That's really the only difference. Like I said, adding more bucktail, and again, wanting that bucktail to wrap around the shank of the hook. I'm adding flash here. Honestly, I think I forgot to add it before the bucktail. I don't think it makes much of a difference when you add your flash in. I didn't go too crazy. I really like this flash though. It's called Lateral scale. It's a really large piece of flash, and so you're adding a lot with not a ton of material. I think it's pretty cool looking stuff. Hopefully the fish thinks so as well. Like I said, I think I forgot to add it before I added that bucktail, so you can either add it after you've added the 4 feathers, or in this case, it's going to work just fine here. It's not hidden. I add some after I add these. This round, I add a second set of flash farther up the fly. So we're just going to fold that bucktail back on itself, again creating some bulk. Advance the feather forward, tie off a dam. So I just added the 2 feathers this time. I didn't go with 4 as I moved up. Just added the 2. Adding some more bucktail. Again, I'm going to wrap it around the shank of the hook. Almost forgetting to add my flash, but getting it in there, thankfully, right at the last second. So adding the brush now, I got a 3-inch brush from EP in black and purple. big thing with this is trying to keep the fibers before you spin the brush on, constantly pulling those fibers towards the back, palmering it on, if you will. Trying to keep the most amount of fibers not caught up. You want as many fibers out as you can get. So I could have cut that the piece of wire off. I just folded it over. Should be able to cover it up with my thread wrap here. And now pulling all those fibers towards the back of the fly as I twist this on. Hopefully you can do a better job than I do pulling those fibers back. But wrap up to the eye of the hook, and then we're going to tie this off. Now, I do eventually wind this off, but it was a pain in the butt to do that. It might just be easier to get your scissors in there. If you got a big pair of junky scissors that you don't care about, get in there and cut it off. Save yourself some time trying to wind that wire and fatigue it till it comes off. Make sure to brush this out. Get as many of those fibers, the ones that get caught up because you're lazy and don't do a good job pulling those fibers back. I just got an old toothbrush. You can get some other brushes to get in there as well. This does a pretty good job. Don't be lazy like me. Do a really good job pulling those fibers towards the back of your fly, and you won't have to brush it out too much. Give this a nice whip finish. Alright, last thing, I'm gonna add some eyes. Not the prettiest job putting eyes on, as you probably saw there. I whacked the eye of the hook with the super glue. So I got that off later, but get those eyes on there. These are the largest living eyes you can get. I believe this is the ice color. I don't know if it matters. Give that GT something to aim for when this thing's moving through the water. And that's it. It's not the most difficult fly to tie, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to post a video and let you know if this fly works or not. So we're going on the trip here right away, and if we have luck with this, we'll add a little clip to show this fly actually working. So thanks very much for watching the video, and we will see you in the next one.